Have you ever felt like a misfit in a society obsessed with fitting in? Have you ever been labeled a troublemaker for questioning authority, asking questions, or proposing preposterous ideas? If so, this message is for you. As you know, the tagline to our company here is "Be the Exception." This came from my dad. He'd say, "Don't just do what others do. Don't be a follower. Be the exception." I was very fortunate that my dad made being the exception a badge of honor. It was okay to be a nonconformist, a misfit, a maverick, a rebel, even troublemaker for the right reason. This is a very countercultural idea, counter to our very instincts as a social tribe species. You see, society functions on conformity. It's easier to manage, predict, and control. But there's a dark downside. It stifles creativity, suppresses individuality, and demonizes those who dare to be different. Think about our education system. It's a breeding ground for uniformity, where success is measured by the ability to memorize and regurgitate what you're told, rather than to think critically and creatively. It's literally standardized testing. To those of us who are different, as a human being in a social tribe species, this can be very psychologically troubling. Troubling for both the individual human being and for the collective societal tribe dealing with the different human being. I understand the challenge of civil society, of the school system as a whole. There is a need for society's functionality and coherence, and it can be extremely challenging for a school system to accommodate and nurture nonconformity. But we also need to encourage and nurture individual differences, critical thinking, and the courage to challenge conventional wisdom. Because, as we know, the greatest advancements in any society often come from the troublemakers, the rebels, the misfits, and the deviants who are willing to question and break rules and do things differently. I'll give you a for instance. I have a goddaughter who has been giving her parents a ton of trouble. She is the quintessential troublemaker in school. There were many parent-teacher conferences to discuss her class disruptions. 1, talking back to her teachers, which was actively debating her teachers' lessons. 2, inattention, fidgeting, and talking in class because the teacher was boring and unengaging. She still got straight A's, by the way, much to the chagrin of her teachers. And 3, for fighting. Come to find out, an older kid was making fun of a timid freshman and started to physically push him around. She jumped on the back of the bully, stripped him of his backpack, and started beating the bully with his own backpack. She was suspended. The bully was not. All this communicated to her that she was bad, she was wrong, she was troubled. She was defective somehow. When you talk with her, she is wise beyond her years, very insightful and intuitive, obviously smart and articulate. She talks to you like a peer. She always has, even as a little kid. She is insatiably curious. She'll Tommy gun you with questions. This is unnerving for most adults. It makes them uncomfortable to be asked questions that they don't know the answers to. The school, even parents of other students, have repeatedly encouraged her parents to put her on medication, all in the attempt to get her to stop being a disruption, to stop being the exception. Her parents asked me if I would take her on a walk and talk to see if she'd listen to me, since she wasn't listening to her parents, teachers, or even medical professionals. Of course, I agreed. As we talked, I asked her how things were going. After 10 different questions like that, I finally got past the fine, and she started to tell me the stories of these situations, of course, from her vantage point. After an hour and a half of her talking, I knew there was only one thing she needed to learn. Only one thing she needed to hear. I said, "You're perfect. There's nothing wrong with you. In fact, you're better than perfect. You're special. What you aren't is normal." How do I know? Because I'm not normal. You are the exception, and that's why I see you. This makes you very different. And different is scary to the ordinary. Different is unnerving to normal people around you. Just know the very things that make you different and disruptive to others, or in the confines of the school system and under the roof of your parents, is exactly what will make you extraordinary out there in the world. Then I told her about what the authorities and school systems said about Richard Branson and Steve Jobs and Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison, and Oprah Winfrey and Pablo Picasso and Winston Churchill and others during their teenage years. Knowing the feelings that she was having, the self-identity that the world was trying to cast upon her, I knew how pivotal of a time this was for her. She was either going to try and suppress her unique traits and superpowers in order to fit in and be accepted by a world desperate to fit her into a nice, tidy box, Or she could recognize that to be the exception is a gift, it's an advantage, and it's something to celebrate and own and fully step into. When I think of my goddaughter and the feelings that she was experiencing, knowing how truly extraordinary, exceptional, and gifted she really is, it breaks my heart to think how many hundreds, maybe hundreds of thousands of kids don't get this message, and the world around them caves in on them, and they are suppressed or perpetually tortured in the attempt to repress themselves to fit in. Maybe the kid inside you still feels repressed, made to feel wrong, troubled, or unaccepted. So if nobody has ever told you, or if no one has told you lately, here's what I know for sure. Since you are here, since you are still listening to me now, here's what I know about you. You are the exception. It is why you're here. It's why you and I are connected. You're perfect. You're better than perfect. You're special. You're different. And that's what makes you unique, gifted, and powerful. Because as we know, it's the ones who dare to think different, be different, act different, are the ones who push the human race forward and eventually change the world. So here's what I'd like you to do this morning. Send this episode to one teenager that you know with a message to them that says, "You're different. Watch this." And I want you to see and acknowledge this in yourself. So write #IamDifferent in the comments below, because the world needs more people who are brave enough to be the exception.